Hello and welcome to my crochet podcast. For those of you who don't know me, and I have had a flurry of new subscribers, which is lovely. I'm Marta, I'm a crochet designer and I like a bit of knitting as well and other crafty bits and pieces, but generally it's crochet that I am here to talk about and share my love of. I've got a bit of news today, 2 exciting things, 4 whips and a couple of new things, as in things that came in the post or things I bought in a yarn shop to share with you. So I don't think it's too much content today. It's probably one of my shorter ones because I've only got 4 whips, which I'm quite chuffed with. Soon to be 3. One's nearly finished. I'll show you in a minute, obviously. I'm going to start first up with my really exciting news, which is that I have a pattern in the Cozy Life box. Cozy Life boxes are a crochet box run by Amanda Bloom, and the contents are just lovely. They normally come with a crochet pattern, the yarn for it, and it's the extra bits and pieces that Amanda pops in that are just lovely. Just make you want to open that box and just really enjoy what's there. I haven't ever bought one actually, but I have seen them and they look just absolutely delightful. And Amanda contacted me the end of last year and asked if I would design a pair of crocheted socks for the February box, which was just like over the moon with excitement. Just so happy to have been asked, and I just feel it's such an honour. And so yeah, the design came together pretty quickly. I've only got the yarn. Amanda actually has my socks. This is the leftover yarn. It is Juniper Moon Farms Harriet Extra Fine yarn, which is 75% alpaca and 25% nylon. It's actually a 3-ply weight. Usually sock yarn is 4-ply, but in this case it's 3-ply, so it's slightly finer, and it is just absolutely the most softest thing. Amanda says that she has some socks designed in it, and they are a few years on and they're still wearing well. You can see it's got a nice bit of fuzz with the alpaca. Yeah, really nice to work. So I designed crocheted socks, like I say, and I've designed them using alpine stitch to give them a really nice texture. It goes all the way around the leg and the upper foot. The base of the foot is in extended double crochet stitches. They are a toe-up sock, and they finish with a ribbing, and it's the front post, back post type of ribbing, not the back loop only worked in rows kind of cuff. So that is out. The boxes are now available. I can finally shout about it. I've had to keep it quiet forever. See those times when I was saying, and there's something else I'm working on and I can't show you just now. Yeah, that was that one. I was only able to hint about it. I think I maybe shared the yarn and said it was for something top secret, and that is as much as I've shared. I've been really good and kept it under wraps. These 2 colours are, one is wolf and one is travertine. I think this is wolf and this is travertine. They're both colours I've used before. I've used this yarn before, but they're double knitting version, which doesn't have the nylon in. It's just the pure alpaca. So I've used this for a few things. Now off the top of my head I can't think what they are. The wolf amigurumi I made, which was in this one, which is travertine. That's why I know wolf was not in wolf. I designed a wolf amigurumi in this colour, which worked out really beautifully. Anything else to say about the box? I'll pop the description to the Amanda's site if you'd like to order a box or just go and check it out, have a wee look, and I will be able to release that pattern myself once the exclusivity period is up. I'm not quite sure when that is. It's usually 3 to 6 months. I'm not exactly sure. I've got another one other pair of socks. Yes, the pair that was in the Yarnarium, the the crochet box in Australia, crochet subscription box in Australia in November. I'm going to release that in about September, so I might release the 2 pairs of socks around the same time, just because it's coming up to cooler weather. I will probably leave it till then. So you got a wee bit of a wait, unless you want to go and buy the box, which I thoroughly recommend. The other thing I should say is there's a choice. You can either go for my crochet pattern or you can go for a knitted option. Helen Birch, I believe the name of the designer is, has designed a pair of knitted socks using the same yarn. So you get a skein of this and a skein of this, 200 grams of yarn, and you can choose whether you're going to go team knit or team crochet, which is a new move for Amanda. I don't think she's done that before. Sorry, nearly dropped the ball. But yeah, that's exciting, right? I encourage you to go and check that out. So that was exciting piece of news 1. Exciting piece of news 2 is that I am launching a Colourpop bundle tomorrow. Today is Thursday the 24th, I believe, of February. Tomorrow, 25th, I am releasing a Colourpop bundle, which is 5 crochet patterns of mine. They're not new patterns, they're patterns I've had out for a while, but I've curated them together and I've added in a bonus, which is a short tutorial, a video tutorial from me about colour, and I've put that all together with these patterns and it goes on offer tomorrow. The biggest discount code is going to go to my mailing list, but the only discount code is going to go to my mailing list. It's already heavily discounted. Yeah, discounted. It would value around £30 and I am putting it up on my website for £15. If you're on my mailing list, just £12.50, so you've got another £2.50 off if you jump on my mailing list, and I'll be promoting it all next week. So the email with all the info is going to go out first thing tomorrow morning. That's Friday morning, 8:30. I send out my crochet chit chat, which is my weekly newsletter, which comes with a bit of crochet news. I like to share a photo of one of your projects made using my pattern, and there's normally a tip of the week and any other bits and pieces. If I've done a YouTube video, like I'll put up, you know, my go check out my latest podcast down at the bottom, something like that. So there's all sorts of crochet news. It's always good value, tips, advice, news, and the biggest discount codes, and sometimes the only discount codes, go out in that as well. So hop on that. I will put that link in the description, which you can just find below, and go and check that out. That would be good. Happy to have you there, and you can unsubscribe anytime. You can check it out, you know, and if it's not for you, just unsubscribe. No hard feelings. That is fine. I'm just going to have a sip of tea. Right, shall we dive in with the yarny goodness? Let's start with the knitting because I don't want it to get tangled. Look! Dun, dun, dun. I've done quite a bit on these. I think on the last podcast I'd maybe just started the pink, and then a few days later I had to frog it right back to the start of the colour work section. I realised I'd made a mistake and I had just muddled up the colours. I think I'm so used to seeing colour 1, meaning that's the first colour, colour 2, next colour. It's a Stephen West pattern, and MC was really colour 1, and then CC1, contrast colour 1, is what I would have classed as colour 2. So I think I'd flipped the page or something, and I read CC1 and just read that as colour 1. So it's not a fault with the pattern or anything. It's more me not paying attention, just different ways of writing it. I tend to just talk about my colours in 1, 2, 3, 4, or occasionally A, B, C, D. So I just totally missed that, and I did this first band in this colour, and it looked funny. I kept looking at it and thinking that's not really quite right, but I've never done any work like this before. I've never knitted anything. You're switching knits and purls and slipping stitches, and this is just a technique I've never done before, so I didn't realise that it wasn't quite right until I started the next colour, and that's when I went, oh, I see what I've done. Yeah, so I thought about just leaving it, and I thought, no, let's frog and start again. So I started again. I managed to catch the stitches, no problem. I just pulled the needles out, I think they were here, pulled them out, and I just carefully wove them in where they needed to be, and then frogged, and that seemed to work all right for me. I know a few folks who are not that confident at knitting commented that they'd probably end up frogging the whole thing, and that would probably have been me a couple of years ago. I would probably have ended up doing that, but I'm getting there with the knitting, getting there. I really like it. It's a great pattern. So it's Stephen West's Painting Triangles socks, and it's part of his year of socks knit along. I don't know if you want to call that. It's an ebook anyway, with a sock pattern coming out every month. This was the one for February, not sure. One of the ones. I think this was, oh, I'm not even gonna, I don't know, one of the ones, okay? You'll find it. If you're looking for it, you'll find it. And I'll put the link to the exact pattern in the notes. So I'm ready to start the heel. I've maybe got another row of main colour. I haven't checked. I learned the pattern off by heart, so the pattern has been in another room, so I'm not sure where I'm up to, because once you've got the hang of this, it's really straightforward. It might look complicated, and I think it looks complex, it looks quite intricate, but it's easy peasy. And I am not really a knitter, so I do encourage you to give knitted socks a go. I'm onto the heel next, like I say, and that's just in this colour. And then this is just repeated for the foot once I've done the heel. So, and if I didn't say, I don't think I did on this one, these are for Claudia, who is Sunbird Crochet, and we are doing a wee swap. She's just started knitting me a crocheted shawl in a gorgeous orange colour. Actually, it's not dissimilar to this orange, maybe slightly more orangey. That's just a bit more vermilion-y, slightly more orangey, and it looks gorgeous. Yeah, she has started it. It looks really, really nice. So we're just doing that wee swap amongst ourselves, which is cool. Oh dear, that went down the wrong way. I think I tried to talk too soon. Next whip. I am just so busy today, so I'm not actually going to do any, hopefully, unless this cough really turns into something. I don't have time to put in any fancy editing or anything today, so I'm just going to work straight through this, because I've been working really hard on the launch for tomorrow, and once I've done this I need to go and just finish off the PDF for the Colourpop bundle. I've recorded the video this morning. I've got to just tweak that on YouTube, and it'll be an unlisted video, and the link to that, pop it in and get it up listed and uploaded onto the website. So I've got loads to do this afternoon. I didn't want to not podcast, but I decided if I podcast and just work through and hopefully get it all done in a oneer and pop it up on YouTube in a oneer. So here is my Battenberg blanket. I think last time I didn't put markers in, because I think I'd probably have to mark every square that I did, but I think last time it was about here and here. That'd be about right. And I've added these bits and these bits and a few down the bottom as well. Not many, a few down the bottom, but I also have quite a big pile of squares I've worked through. These ones at the end are all from a stack, all from the same ball. It's a Debbie Bliss sock wool, and it kind of changes colour like that as it. It's almost like a Zauberball yarn. Not quite the same, it's more fuzzy, but it changes colour in the same way. If you've used one of the Zauberball ones from Shoppel, you will know how they work out, because I've used them a couple of times. They're really, really nice. So it's sort of like that. So I'm getting all sorts of different colours for my blanket, which is good. And I think square wise, I've made about the same number of squares as I did in January. So that's come together quite nicely. I'm going to continue along, I think, until I get the length of my double bed. So it's going to look a little bit odd with this funny bit in the middle, and that's okay. I'm alright with that. I'm just spreading out because I've used pretty much all the colours I have. So I'm just trying to spread them a bit rather than having them all the colours I have now in a big blob in the middle, and then as I get new colours, them all being around the outside. So this way, and by just making lots of squares and not joining too many, I am hopefully mixing the colours up a bit. My friend Julia very kindly gave me a few skeins of yarn, including this one. There's a few at the other end. That one. And I remember up here, this one, this pink, and this one. This one's from the wool shed actually. So Julia has very kindly given me a few skeins of yarn, and I'm not allowed to keep the whole skeins, but I am allowed to just make a few squares out of them and then hand the yarn back. So that's given me a little bit of variety. Very, very kind of her. And I've been winding her skeins using my new winder and Swift that I showed you in the last podcast. So I guess she gets her yarn wound up and ready to use for that. So that's just really, really kind, and it's given me some extra colours. I've got a few more still to do. So yay! Let's go blanket to blanket. My other crochet blanket is this one, and I haven't done too much on it, but I have added these hearts. I've now got two symmetrical, sorry, talk up if I put it in front of my face, two symmetrical panels plus the hearts on this side. Hearts will go down the bottom as well, and I've done the moss stitch, hearts down the bottom. The thing that's slowing me on this is that I've been showing you the back all this time, sorry. There, that's better. Ta-da! The thing that's slowing me on this is that I want to be writing it up completely on my computer, my laptop, as I go, so that when I get to the end of the blanket, it's not like, oh my goodness, I've got that all to write up. So I'm trying to do one piece and then write that up and then follow it for this piece, checking it as I go and making any little adjustments. So it means that I'm kind of starting a little bit, because I can't go any further here until I've done this bit. Otherwise I'll end up too far on, and I know that it'll just become impossible and I won't want to write it up. So things have been a little slower, and I've also been working on a project which is totally different. It's paper mache mostly, and it's for World Book Day. There's a wee tour around our town through various shops, businesses, and our church is one of them, because we've got a fairly large window, and the idea is that all these shops and businesses put in their window a display based on a children's book. So we've chosen The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and I've been making some of the elements for that. The kids in my Sunday school and my toddler group class have contributed as well, so that's been fun. So I was working on a paper mache witch and paper mache wardrobe for that. So that did take up quite a bit of my time last week, over the weekend. Setup was yesterday, so I've got it all set up. So yeah, it was really good to do something different, and still creative obviously, but just something that a little bit different. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it actually. I did. I think the kids did as well, what they've done. So this, I keep saying it's going to be moving on faster than it will. I think it's just a project that's going to take as long as it takes, and I'm happy with that. As long as it's ready for next winter, right? There, I managed to drink properly. So, blanket. This one is in, I didn't say, in Hobbii Yarns Friends, the Extra Fine Merino. And it's a double knit blanket. And I'll be doing it in various sizes. I'm going for small throw size. And I will write it up for various sizes from pram cot, small throw, large throw. I'll probably do single bed. Don't know if I'll go as far as double bed. I'll see. I will just have to see. At the moment, I'm concentrating on the size I'm doing, and then I'll work out how to size it up. My last whip is the Tunisian cowl that I'm working on. And that's grown quite a lot, actually. It has. Yeah, now I see it. Compared with me holding it on the last podcast, I think I didn't put a marker in, but I think I was probably about here. So it's at least 1.5 times, probably closer to 2 times bigger. And that's going to go round. It actually touches at the back, but I want a little bit more, a wee bit more shape. Yeah, more like that. And then there's going to be a shell border around the bottom. So that's come on really nicely. Oh my goodness, it feels so soft. Really, really nice and soft. And this one is in Holst yarn. I know how to write it. Cielo. I'm not sure if that's cielo or cielo. Yarn, which is 42% alpaca, 42% merino, 16% polyamide. That I do know. Need to check on that pronunciation. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous yarn which is chained, and actually you see it better today than the last day. It's a chained yarn and it just feels like air. Actually, I've seen, I think it was in Sunbird Crochet's yarn stash video, she had some drops air, and I think it's a similar, it's made in a similar way, but I looked just from what I saw in that video, drops air could be a good substitute for this one. I will have a look and see on Yarn Sub. So this is going to be my first Tunisian pattern. I have not done anything about writing it up yet, other than a couple of scribbles. So I'm not sure how quickly that'll come together. Probably pretty quickly, because as you can see, it's a rectangle and it's an 8-row repeat. And even within those 8 rows, you know, it's just repeat row 3 or whatever. So it changes colour every 4. So that's going to be pretty straightforward to write up. And I'll get that done when I get it done. We'll just have to see. As soon as I finish this one, I'm going to start something new. I'm trying just to stick to these 4 whips, I think, especially since I want to work on the blanket. I want to get the socks finished for Claudia, and I'm kind of committed to doing 2 or 3 squares a day for my Battenberg. So 4 whips at a time seems kind of quite good at the minute. Okay, on to a couple of things that I got in the post. I ordered, did I show this in the last one? Oh my goodness, now I'm suddenly thinking, did I? I don't know if I did. I have the feeling I did. As soon as I brought it up there, I thought, I think I did. Shawl Project Book 5. And possibly the reason I pulled it out is because I have actually chosen which one I'm going to do. And that is, if I find it, I've been up at my mum's and been through her stash. She has quite a lot of, it's all 2-ply, this book. It's all lace weight yarn. I'm going to go for this one. I really like that. It looks nice and simple and repetitive, meditative even. And my mum has some lovely colours. I'll probably take this up with me tomorrow and choose the yarn. So this is going to be my next project. Patterned by Joanne's Grace. And she also had a wee sale on, because she's not going to be selling her physical items like notions, hooks. tape measures, etc. So I ordered myself a tape measure. Oh, sorry, I pushed that in. And then almost that last bit is just shoved back in. But I've never had one of these in a little pulley thing like this before, so quite excited about that. Also, Joanne says that she likes this one because it goes all the way up to the largest size for size inclusivity. Oh, news on that front. I am going to be starting my course next week. So Thursday next week is the first session, and I'm going to be doing that with Lynn, who is the Wool Nest, and she's going to be writing up the course and I'm going to be her guinea pig as she writes it up. So that's really exciting. I'm going to be working closely with her and learning all about size inclusivity, and I cannot wait to start some more garment design. Because I have, like I've said before, I just haven't been doing it the last few years because I wanted to do this course, and yeah, that's cool. No idea what it entails. We're just going to have a chat next week and outline the course and see where we go from there. So I don't know if it's going to be the kind where I work on a garment as we're going through it, or I do know there's going to be homework. Not quite sure, but it's all really cool. I am excited about moving forward, learning. I just love learning more about crochet and how to improve, get better. It's the same as improve, isn't it? Am I waffling? And yeah, moving on. Is that everything? No, I pushed something to one side. So just after I released the last podcast, I went to Woolly Brew in Pittenweem and I bought these 2 skeins of yarn. And they're by My Mama Knits, both of them. One's just a wee mini skein and the other one is a full 100 grams skein, and it's superwash merino sock yarn, the usual 75% merino and 25% nylon. This colourway is Siren, and this one, does it have any? Oh, Beadlet Anemone. There we go. Beadlet Anemone. And they're going to be socks. Of course they're going to be socks. I don't know if it'll be a design of mine or if I will knit them or if I'll crochet someone else's design. We'll see. But I thought they went really nicely together. So then the yarn, oh look, I must have been thinking about these. Gosh, if I do that and then that, look. Are these my colours at the minute? I have the feeling they might be. The Woolly Brew is a yarn shop that previously I've only looked at through the window. It's in Pittenweem. It was shut the day I went to Pittenweem. But I was in Pittenweem a couple of Saturdays ago and I went to the shop. I didn't have too long. We were in town because we're visiting an exhibition that my sister was having, and I'd gone through with my dad and my mum, and it was actually only as we were driving into Pittenweem that I said, Pittenweem has a yarn shop! And so I was allowed 5 minutes on the way out of Pittenweem to pop in. So it was a frantic look around, quick choose something, and I had a chat to the owner. It was really lovely, got some photos taken. I saw the Journal of Scottish Yarns, they had a copy of that and I was able to have a look. I found my pattern in there, and yeah, lovely shop. If you're in Pittenweem, definitely worth a look. It's a fairly small shop, but it's got a load of stuff crammed in it. It's got lots of samples, which I really liked, and so you can see how the yarns are worked up, and lots of books and patterns, and what else was I going to say? They have knit group and things there, and they have a website. So if you are further away and you're not around the East Neuk of Scotland, then East Neuk of Fife rather, then you can have a look on their website, because they do have quite a few nice indie yarns as well as the bigger mainstream ones. but lots of pure wool, which I liked. Yeah, lovely shop, can't wait to go back. And now my sister's living over in that part of Fife, so I'll be able to pop back for sure. It won't be my last visit. And now I think that is everything. So I hope you've liked my podcast. If you are new, welcome, and I hope you've enjoyed this first one. And do like and comment below, letting me know. Oh, I should have thought up a good question. Whether you are crocheting something, whether you crochet, trying to formulate the question in my head. I've got the question, I just need to get the words out properly. Whether you crochet more seasonally or whether you crochet the same kind of things, doesn't matter what time of year it is. So I'm thinking in the Northern Hemisphere, we're slowly moving into spring. So do you stop or slow down knitting things like blankets and hats and scarves, and then perhaps knit things more like beach hats, accessories, little amigurumi perhaps over the summer? Or are you just doesn't matter what the season is, I am crocheting? Because that question comes up now and again and I'm always curious about the answer. I think for me, I don't really change, other than in the summer I don't like to have big heavy blankets sitting on me, but I think that's when I'll, certainly with the Battenberg blanket, I'll just work on lots of squares so that I don't have all that sitting around on my knee, that extra warmth. Not that it gets that warm here in Scotland, but if it's over 25, I am not happy. So I prefer it to be that little bit cooler. So I think we'll leave it there, and I shall be back in a couple of weeks. I hope you have a good few weeks and get lots of crocheting and other crafting done. Bye for now.